All right, folks, welcome on back here this Monday afternoon. It's hosted live in the Cyber Group Trading Room and streaming across social media, Facebook Live and YouTube. Welcome on back here for our afternoon meeting. Let's get a quick sound check just to begin. Make sure everyone can hear me loud and clear. Go, just banged my knee against my desk. Ow. Great to see everybody, though. Michael, C, Pat, Dale, Phil, Cliff, all of us inside the trading room loud and clear. I'm going to give a quick shout out. Judy ended up killing it today on a couple of her trades this morning, as well as Debbie M inside the trading room. Great to see both of you. Bonnie, of course, as well. Kathleen, loud and clear from all. All right, so without further ado, folks, let's hop right into it. We have class continuing today, Phase 1, Lesson 2, part of our monthly curriculum lined up at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. So I want to go quick. We have the WIMI stock up right now, WIMI. Pulling back a bit after making a pop and drop from resistance off of 8. I was going to copy and paste the news, but then I realized I forgot. There's no headline here that's driving this up. So we ended up seeing WIMI breakout shortly after the market opened up. I mean, really, it was more so around 10 o'clock, 10:15-ish more than anything, where we ended up seeing this break new highs, pretty low volume at that point even. Ended up starting to squeeze up pretty nicely, though, as you could see up towards just about 640-ish, 635 resistance. From there, once it ended up popping that and eventually 650, it ended up moving up higher, breaking above 7 from there, pushing up pretty nicely. So more or less than anything else on this trade heading into the early afternoon, as we were watching this continue to push up towards 750 and above that even. You have to be careful. For a stock that continuously pushes up like the WIMI did without very little retracement, you got to figure it's going to come at some point. So we were saying off the pop and drop from 8 to look out. We ended up seeing a very steady trend line just as this was pushing up. So kind of pulling back down there right now and even a little bit underneath that trend line, so to say. Heading into the afternoon, guys, be careful on this trade. I mean, it's up big still, but a lot of volume traded. So for this WIMI trade, I'm going to check the float on this actually just to see. This stock had an average daily volume of about 1.9 million shares per day before today. So looking at that, the float, 12.5 million share float. I'd say that's pretty low in the grand scheme of things. So with this pump up, don't be surprised, as we've seen in the past, this stock do a dump back down after. This was one of our biggest trades going back into this entire year, seeing the stock pump from basically 8 all the way up to 28, dumping back down the next few days after. So at least for right now, I mean, hey, we'll put this on our watch list, not to say it's not going to squeeze up higher, but if it's not breaking higher, there's only one other way the stock's going to go, as we always like to say, right? So, for right now, we'll put WIMI at least on our list, and we'll see if there's anything looking a little bit better, making more of an afternoon run more than anything. With class on the horizon, folks, really what we'll do is just go from top to bottom, and this was the only other one I was really going to copy and paste news on, but the MDLY, I want to just go through this here pretty quick for all of you guys, because obviously you see the 1 minute chart. So we had this stock on our pre-market watch list at 6:45, 6:50 in the morning. News came out. MDLY trading higher after the company announced the sale of a loan portfolio for net proceeds of $41 million. Copy and paste that for all of us tuning in on social media. So it ended up making a nice squeeze in pre-market, and by the time the market opened up, well, the dump off came. That's not surprising. But then out of nowhere, this wasn't halted off of volatility. This was halted off of news pending. So as you could see the big gap on the 1 minute chart, that's as long as it was halted. I mean, really from 9:35, this was halted and it reopened up at 2 o'clock Eastern time. So when we were talking about this live inside the trading room earlier, when myself and Fausto were doing the audio broadcast, I was saying at the time, if it's news pending, my guess was going to be that it was common stock offering or direct offering of shares at a much lower price. Nonetheless, when this reopened up, there was no other headline out there. So I'm going to copy and paste at least what Benzinga Pro gave me. MDLY comments on unusual market activity, says the company confirms that it is not aware of any undisclosed material change in the business, operations, or affairs, at least from the last headline from this morning. So no idea why this gap down as much as it did, but damn, that is a big drop. So heading into the afternoon, very similar to the WIMI trade. We'll put this on our watch list. Doesn't mean that we're going to necessarily trade it at this point, trading 47 plus million shares today. And again, prior to today, this stock was trading very low volume. I mean, prior to today, it was at basically 1 million shares per day. So it doubled up on that number based on today's total in general. But yeah, I mean, I would say this is low float, low volume type of stock. And for as much volume as it traded today, it's not as likely to make as big of a move back up. But we'll see if it could end up breaking higher over that resistance that's holding there on the chart, 160. It's a really strong level, at least. All right, so at least from this point, guys, we'll just go from top to bottom. The IH trade, nice run up earlier on today, and we weren't there to call it out or catch it. Big spread, very low volume. So HUSN, same thing, nice push from earlier today, but dumping off right now. Let's see, we'll kind of just skim through. Where's that net trade that Fausto was talking about? We had this not on the main watch list leading into the market open, but at least after 9:30, we saw this make the big pop. Fausto noticed it was breaking all-time highs at the time. I mean, the stock has been breaking all-time highs just from the end of last week, but obviously a much bigger push today. It's right back up there right now. So, you know, it's more of a level 4 to 5 stock, but I would say this net trade, just keep a smaller eye on here. They're breaking all-time highs. All right, so let's see. We'll jump kind of back. I think I skipped over LIZI, and then also actually this icon trade. This is kind of a familiar name to me. Nice push, at least going into the afternoon. I think the stock got crushed from a long time ago, no? Yeah, oh yeah. Back from 2017. Big drop off, only continued to tank after. Has a ways to go to recover, right? So, you know, it is kind of near the highs still. It's interesting. We'll come back to it perhaps. All right, Lizzie, LIZI, done. Pump and dump. There we go. JMIA back on the gainer side here today, up 15+%. I thought I saw one of our students, David, call this out, approaching the highs of the day heading into the early afternoon. So, you know, it was a great call. Pop and drop, unfortunately, but actually, it's not too unfortunate because, as I always like to say, if it ends up crapping out the other way, the stock thankfully is shortable. So that would be the opportunity should we see a lot of selling pressure come in. Otherwise, though, it is still kind of near the highs, you know, pulling back down towards the last few peaks back from like 11:30, 12 o'clock heading into the afternoon. So, you know, in that regard, see where this, you know, ends up moving towards. If it ends up breaking lower, maybe that's where we get our short. Otherwise, if this could push right back up and over 12, we see some more volume on the bid at 12, and perhaps we could see this make the new run heading into the afternoon. Just a very active stock. So the JMIA trade, no problem putting this back on our list. All right, cool. Surf, we got a couple other familiar names here. Surf Pop, at least heading into the afternoon, just dumping off now. CEI, familiar name from this past week or maybe even the week before that. The stock has definitely a big squeeze waiting to happen. Ended up squeezing back on Thursday of last week. That's right. Pop dropped right back down on Friday. And for what it's worth, it's kind of near the highs right now today. I'm more inclined to focus on this than that icon one, I think. So I'll put both on our side list for right now, and we'll come back to both by the end of this meeting. But I do like this one a little bit more. I want to see if there's anything else just better than these, at least. So Genius, one of Judy's trades I know that she's in right now. So Genius is pushing up pretty nicely. I mean, again, another stock that we ended up trading going back into early COVID days, right? This is more back into June, May time, but squeezed up. This was not related to COVID. I just kind of put those two together. But this had more or less to do with like a children's cartoon channel being launched. I swear. And at the time, Arnold Schwarzenegger was one of the main backers. I swear again. So, you know, kind of a funky pairing, but we ended up trading this. It ended up doing really well for us on the way up, but as you could see, a dump right back down. So, you know, we at least are familiar with the stock. It is interesting, and this one is near the highs also. We haven't seen this one trade as much over the last week, so maybe we'll see a sharper move heading into the afternoon for this Genius trade. I'll give this a shot. I'll put this on our main list. Nice level 1 trade, perhaps. Now, I do see on the gainer side also, now these are my favorites. I love them. Marathon Patent Group, and then alongside that, my Riot. Finally, oh my goodness, finally, Riot is pushing back up. Now, for anybody new to these afternoon meetings, I've been mentioning to us, you know, during these broadcasts that I've been very bullish on Bitcoin, very bullish on these stocks in particular. I'm swing trading Riot. I've been in Riot from 3:30. You could see from the last month or so, I was down a bit. So I'm not in on too many shares to the point where I was like really pulling my hair out, but wasn't too fun. I mean, I'm still very bullish long term. So, you know, I have to maintain confidence in that. Well, thankfully, we have the aesthetically pleasing chart of seeing Riot push up today. So, I'm up a little bit again. We'll see where it ends up pushing heading into the rest of this week. The same to be said, though, as always, these stocks are not good afternoon trades. We normally do not see these stocks break out higher heading into the afternoons. We've always seen them kind of just slump off and be big busts for us at this point in the day. So for what it's worth, it made a nice push today with Bitcoin. Don't be surprised if we see them up again tomorrow. If not tomorrow, maybe at some point this week, Wednesday, Thursday. But I definitely have my eyes on these blockchain stocks, as we call them, and Bitcoin blockchain, so to say, Mara and Riot. All right, cool. They're not on our list, at least for the afternoon right now, though, like I said. Let's see if there's anything else looking better, though. Fran, familiar name, F-R-A-N. I don't know. Did Fran have a reverse split recently? This squeeze up might be based on a reverse split. I might be making that up too. But this Fran stock we've traded in the past, really cheap stock in the past. So that's why I say it may have had some sort of reverse split. I actually look into that right now. Nice pop and drop from earlier today. Could be one to watch going forward for this week. Not this afternoon, though. Yeah, I'm not looking. I don't see anything on Benzinga Pro as much for FRAN Fran. Interesting, though. All right. We'll follow up with this one, though, at least later in the week. All right, let's hop over to the losers list here. In the meantime, the AXTI stock down big. I was pretty hyped about this trade, guys, until, and for all the right reasons, this made our watch list, right? I mean, it should have. But prior to today, this stock was trading about 51,000 shares on average a day. So with it trading as much volume as it was trading in pre-market, it led me to believe that there was a better chance this would exhaust out and not really make that big type of dead cat bounce we would hope for. So at least after the market opened up, it did squeeze up, slammed right back down, and well, it is shortable. So there actually was a great opportunity on this trade. I wasn't as inclined to focus on it given how little volume it is traded daily prior to today. With this type of gap down, though, you have to believe I'm going to be chomping at the bit on this, much like I was on JE, another stock that I'm still in on as a swing. But over the last week, we've seen the stock make a nice push up, right? So, in the same line of thinking, keep that AXTI in mind. But yeah, for the afternoon, not as much. There's that MARP stock, that crazy one we saw from the end of last week on Friday. I know one of our students, Andrea, called it out. I told you guys to look out for this. This was going to be a screaming pump and dump, and it was. I mean, there's no activity here on the chart. This is just lifeless right now, but a big gap down from Friday's trading at least. What is this symbol here? ZYXI. It's not like a test symbol from TradeStation. That's like a real company. Ended up making a nice drop off today. Shortable. Looks like it could have been a really good opportunity. I missed out on it. Down huge, though, and pretty interesting, at least heading into the afternoon. The spreads seem to be somewhat contained. And, although the liquidity light, the stock is shortable, I'd rather put this on our main, special list compared to that AXTI, even if this doesn't make as good of a move as we would want it to today. If it doesn't make as good of a move today, like I'd said with that AXTI, keep it in mind for the remainder of the week. This one trades more volume on a day-to-day basis, at least. So, a little more liquidity on this. So keep this one in mind, perhaps. Ooh, OPK down big, and they're dropping off heavily right now. Wow. Okay. Nice afternoon move. Breaking down pretty nicely. It is shortable on the way down. This is more of a level one stock, so to say. No headline on this. I see the last headline from Friday afternoon. It says they were trading higher after the company announced its bioreference lab has launched for the coronavirus testing program in New York City schools. Sounds like good news, but obviously a big drop today. So no idea why this is moving down. Maybe it's just having a strong upward market. Maybe some sense of hope that we're going to have a vaccine, and with them, one of the vaccine or antibody testing companies, maybe they're just dropping off of that. I don't know. No idea why. Very interesting move, though, to say the least. So I'll put this on our list, OPK. More of a level one short. Major support off of 4, you would imagine, on the bid. 4,389 underneath that. All right. So HUYA pump up early in pre-market, super early, and then dump off going into 8 o'clock. And it still seems to be kind of near the lows, trading a lot of volume, just tradable stock, much like the even the OPK Rich talking about. So in a similar regard, I don't mind putting this on our main list. It is trading a lot of volume compared to what it normally does. So given the move again, wouldn't be surprising to kind of see it exhaust out, but it's one I'd rather keep in mind, at least for the meantime. And I think that just about does it, folks. If there's anything else that you would want me to look at, let me know. Type it in the chat boards here. Run down big, pretty expensive. It is dropping off nicely. Michael says not a big percentage gainer. No problem there. Shame those. But PIN is hitting all-time highs. All right, so that alone would give me a reason to put it on the list. But, Michael, that was from 10 o'clock in the morning. This stock isn't really moving right now, right? So it's not even the fact it's not up a whole lot percent-wise. See, if this was breaking all-time highs in the moment, I'd be way more inclined to put this on our list. But this is not really moving too well right now. Penn National Gaming from our side list. This one's dropping off nicely, not down a whole lot percent-wise. I'd rather focus at least on this, though. We'll check out some of the others that are on our list. DraftKings, not doing a whole lot right now. Neo, same thing. You got to figure, guys, it still is a holiday today, double holiday. Happy Canadian Thanksgiving. Canadian Thanksgiving to anybody that celebrates, but yeah, Columbus Day, Canadian Thanksgiving, pretty slow market right now we've had. Workhorse is dropping off still at this point. This is trading a hell of a lot of volume, though, at this point, too. So I'm not as inclined to put this on our main list now. It was a great trade from earlier today. I was doing pretty well on this. Plug, great short from earlier on this morning. Pretty flat, though, for right now. Same thing. Happy I got out of American Airlines earlier. I took a 1 or 2 cent loss on this. Got out at $12.99. Norman saying NET is popping. That NET stock, Norman, is a level 5 stock. Got to be careful on something like that, man. All right. Big spread at times. I mean, right now it's not as crazy, but with a pop, with a new high like this, 56 resistance, we could see it open up pretty quick. All right, let me check one more thing, guys. I'll take a quick look on Benzinga Pro. I don't see any other recommendations right now. Take a look, though, on Benzinga Pro. I did want to take a look at VIPs. I called that out heading into the meeting. That's right. VIPS, look at this, up 8.5%. It's at the highs right now. It's like kind of a grinder of a trade, not like moving up too fast. I mean, it's really steady, but just chugging along there, right? So, for what it's worth, I really don't mind putting this on our list. And then what else did we have here? HX. This is pushing up pretty quickly. Making more of an afternoon move here for us. It's up 45%. So, this was like storming up the gainers list as I was doing this meeting, I guess. But yeah, I'll put both of them on for right now. So that CEI stock, the Icon, we kind of kept those on the quote-unquote side for right now, but we'll keep them on the side. VIPS looks pretty good. And we'll give this a quick look here to the HX for right now. Don't be surprised, though, as well. This stock, hasn't really traded a whole lot of volume on a day-to-day basis. Prior to today, about 700,000 shares on average. Actually, that doesn't even seem right. Yeah, I was going to say that does not seem right because this day back from August 13th is kind of factored in. So that kind of inflates that daily average volume. Guys, this stock trades like next to no volume on a day-to-day basis otherwise. So I'm going to put it on our list. It's on our watch list. Doesn't mean it's going to be on our definitive trade list. And I'm not going to jump into this stock right away. But, nice afternoon move. I like the volume so far right now. But, yeah, well, just be careful on this trade, too. All right, folks. I think that just about does it, at least. We have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. All right, not too big. All right, so at least at this point, folks, for all of our students here, I'm going to quickly post and tweet the picks, and then from there, we'll quickly copy and paste the link for class coming up at 3:05 p.m. Eastern. We'll be continuing the Phase 1 stock course. Lesson number 2, we'll be talking all about trends, and we'll probably be looking, for being honest, I mean, although it's not on the main special list here, look at this trend on WKHS. So this will be a great case study for us to focus on, at least heading into this afternoon's class. All right, guys, I look forward to it. For all of us on social media, make sure that you guys like, subscribe, notify right on our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/cybertradingu. Aside from that, feel more than free to join us. All right, folks, take care and enjoy the rest of the day.